Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. This is your boy DerKenste coming at you with another 13 world record post commentary. I got this run Saturday night after I streamed on the day. Started playing at like, I don't know, 1 in the morning or something. Just wanted to do a single run and I happened to get the world record. Luckily enough. So yeah, just like the last record, I am doing post commentary for this one because I didn't commentate it live, and I know that watching a run without any commentary at all is very boring from experience, because I'm in charge of verifying runs, and so I have to watch every run that someone verifies completely from start to end. And yeah, lately all of the runs submitted haven't had any commentary, so I have been kind of slow about doing it, and I know it's quite boring. So that's why I'm here for you. So basically what you need to know about this run is that there aren't really any super major glitches. There's some tricks here and there, of course, some skips. But there's not really a major glitch that we can use throughout the entirety of the run continuously. Also, you should know that we play on the lowest difficulty in this category. It's called arcade. There's also a category which uses the highest difficulty called XXX, or as we like to call it, 30. Because XXX, Roman numerals, kind of a thing in this game. So yeah, this is on the lowest difficulty, because this is any percent, doesn't have any restrictions, and obviously the lowest difficulty is going to be the fastest one. Man, I'm so used to the strats from 30% still, because like before I played the other category for a very long time, and I couldn't really get any runs going, because on the highest difficulty you sometimes randomly die because you just happen to take a headshot, which in my opinion is kind of bad game design, but let's not talk about that. So in this one, a lot of it is really the same, except that that can't really happen to you, which is why this is kind of a better category, like objectively speaking. Well, is it really objective? I don't know. But anyway, that's why I was able to get a record here without putting too much effort into it, and on the other one I just didn't really get any results after dozens of hours. So yeah, that first low was really good. No stucks at all, everything was pretty smooth. Didn't have to wait to pick up the key in the end. This level is mostly cutscenes, which is true for quite a few levels in this game, sadly. Who knows, maybe the remake will have skippable cutscenes. That's probably like one of my biggest wishes, maybe even the biggest one for the remake, is to make more cutscenes skippable, because like having to do this part for the 500th time, it gets boring eventually. So coming up here is the first kind of skip. Basically, flashback is about to start when we pick up the briefcase with the documents. And when that flashback starts, we're gonna jump at this wall. Like so. And then when the flashback ends, we're gonna be on the other side of that wall, and we won't have to wait for the bomb to explode, which saves like 4 or 7 seconds, depending on how you time it. In this case it would be, in this category it's 4 seconds, in the other one it's 7 seconds. Because in this one you can tank the bomb explosion, and in the other one you can't. So yeah, the reason this works is because the wall is like a certain type of entity, and I guess it just isn't loaded while the flashback ends or something. We thought that this was the only place where you can do this in the entire game, but there's also another case later that I will point out. But that one is even more minor than this one. So yeah, the rest of the level is just... I mean, is it a stealth level? I guess it's kind of a stealth level, you can play it like that, but you just kind of run through and... Well, is it really a stealth level though? Because there's no alarm, like on later levels. I guess well, you can't shoot anyone though, I don't know. So yeah, we just kind of run through, hit people with chairs and ashtrays. It's a good time. We can't shoot anyone on this level, so we have to use the chairs. Nice. I forgot that that happened. It's pretty easy to get stuck on this next jump here. That was decent, I guess. I just got headshot, by the way. I took 24 damage from a single shot. If I was playing the other category, I would have taken 96 damage from that hit. Which is almost one hit, obviously, and that's... Like, getting headshot like that is completely outside of your control, as far as I can tell. And... I don't know, it's just really stupid to die from something that's completely out of your control. Like that without having any chance to react at all. And yeah. But they're probably not gonna remove that feature from the remake. So right there, normally you jump down that ladder and you would take 40 fall damage. In that case I like caught myself on the ladder to avoid that, even though I would have been able to survive. The reason I did that is because in this game there's a bug with the fall damage calculation that makes it so that sometimes you take 3 times as much damage as you're supposed to, which in that case would have been 120 damage, which immediately kills you. And I just wanted to do like a no reset run. Or I guess I just didn't want to reset early is what it comes down to. And I didn't want to risk having to reset. I think I just repeated myself. It is 3 in the morning when I'm recording this, I should mention. So if I just sound like a complete idiot, that is one of the reasons. Interesting fact about this level. This cutscene is about 1.5 minutes long, and the gameplay section is almost exactly 1 minute. So this cutscene is like 60% of the level. But hey, at least like the 1 minute section of running to the end is pretty fun. That's a good thing at least. Also, like, now Jones is about to show up and like free us from our shackles, and there's actually a cutscene if you like walk up to her, but that's completely optional. You can just leave the room. I didn't even know that cutscene existed until pretty recently. Yeah. So on this level we pick up like a melee object that we can hit an enemy with, and we carry that all the way to the end to knock a guy out in front of us without getting stuck on him. You could also shoot that same person with a pistol and like use that same pistol to clear your way of enemies and save a bit of time, but you can only save like 0.2 seconds or something with that. And hitting that guy with a pistol before you bump into him is insanely difficult, so you don't do it in full game runs. So yeah, that was the guy I was talking about.
Gold!
Oh, a gold split. A gold split, in case you're not familiar, means that I have never completed that level that quickly before, in a full game run at least. This level also a lot of cutscenes. I think there's like 5 cutscenes in this level. Don't know how much time they take up total. Probably like 2.5 minutes. And then the entire level is just following Jones and killing guards so that she starts moving as quickly as possible. Give me 1 second, I need to put on some pants because it's 3 in the morning and I'm cold. So on that last part, I could have saved a bit of time by jumping off of the barrel and hooking from there. But that movement is kind of difficult, and we only thought of that pretty recently, so I never do it. I should learn it eventually, but it's not really one of my priorities. Killing that guy is quite important because he's the one that makes John start moving, so missing him twice like that is kind of bad. Loses a few seconds. For some reason I feel even colder now than I did before. Goddammit. This shot here is pretty cool if you do hit it. Because you can only see his head obviously, so it's pretty precise, and then in this category you have to hit it with the sniper rifle. So you don't have a crosshair, don't even have a crosshair. I used to be really good at it, but yeah, I'm just not used to doing it without the crosshair anymore, so missed it this time. That nade throw. We can't do that in the other category because the enemies won't die, so you run in there with a revolver. And yeah, that nade is really nice. You pull the trigger, what's it called? You pull the pin as soon as John starts picking the lock, and then time works out perfectly. There's no reason to shoot that window, by the way. I just like to do it for some reason. This next cutscene coming up, by the way, it's like 3 seconds long, and I believe it's the shortest one in the entire game. Let's see, is it actually 3 seconds? Or is the dialogue 3 seconds? Okay, I guess the dialogue is 3 seconds. Should still be the shortest one in the game though, if I'm not mistaken. I can't think of anything that's really anywhere near this short. So for this next part you have a choice between using a revolver and a sniper rifle. The sniper rifle is a bit more consistent, but the revolver has the potential to be faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the revolver here. Yeah, let's see if it works out. Basically what you're looking for is not having to reload. But that guy took 4 shots, so I'm guaranteed to have to reload, sadly. But that was still pretty good. If you do have to reload, you want to do it as early as possible, which I did. So yeah, that was pretty decent route, except for like the 2 seconds I lost at the beginning. It was pretty good, I think. Wow, I'm losing a lot more time than I remember. I don't know. On that level, I just bleed time, and I'm not exactly sure How? That level has a lot of variance. For me at least. I don't know how it is for other runners. I assume it's the same for them. On this level, you're looking to pick up as much assault rifle ammo as you can from these two guys. He stayed in correct spot for me to be able to pick it up, and the other one also died, so that's good. Looks like I'm gonna be able to pick up 2 assault rifles from them. Normally I shoot that guy there next to the barrel with my shotgun, but I forgot to equip it. But it doesn't matter. Like, I normally shoot him with a shotgun to save as much assault rifle ammo as possible, but in this case, luckily it doesn't matter because I got so much anyway. Like, really you can get by without picking up either assault rifle from them. But, I mean, the more you have, the safer you feel, so. The reason I look down here is to move backwards in like the straightest possible line, I guess, so you can explain it. On this level you have to destroy 4 generators to be able to progress to the end. The route for this has really always been the same, as far as I know, like even before I started running. That first generator there, hitting it is just basically luck, because the pistol isn't perfectly accurate. In this case I hit it in 6 shots, which is pretty average. You can do this level a lot faster in IL speedruns because you pick up assault rifle nades on the previous level, and you just shoot all of these generators with the assault rifle nades, and it saves a lot of time. The generator inside here you can actually destroy with an assault rifle nade from outside without picking that lock for 5 seconds. Which was discovered very recently. So I haven't learned how to do it yet at all, so that's why I didn't. Would probably save like 3 seconds total or something. Because picking up an assault rifle on the level before only costs like 2 or 3 seconds. If you only need one. A lot of people have problems with this jump there to avoid taking fall damage, and I'm not entirely sure why. It seems kind of simple to me to just need to hit that slope that I jumped on there. It's not all too precise, but I don't know. This level here used to be notorious because it killed a lot of runs, just because like you died, like literally. Doesn't happen to me at all anymore. The only reason I ever die on this level is if I take a lot of fall damage because I try to do it too quickly. Not sure exactly what changed. Because, I don't know, I still do basically everything the same as I used to. If you walk past this elevator, you can pick up some assault rifle nades as well, and it only costs a few seconds. But there's not really any uses for them past this point in Emerald Base, so I just skip them in any percent. In 30%, they're really nice to have for the next level. But I'll explain it then. This checkpoint reset here is because on this next part there's like electricity that can kill you, and it like moves in cycles. Like it's there for a few seconds and then it's gone. And if we do a checkpoint reset, then we just happen to get there perfectly before it shows up. This is the part where I take a lot of fall damage. That was like, that right there was really smooth, and I only took a little bit of damage. So that's like basically what I'm looking for. Somehow messed up my equips because I don't have an assault rifle equipped. So yeah, that was a bit of unnecessary time loss there, but 2 seconds isn't too bad. By the way, the fact that I'm like a few seconds in the red is completely expected, because my PB was like the fastest beginning I like ever had. So I'm obviously expecting to be a bit behind, even on a good run. And this is like a good run. This is like the best run that I've had since I started playing this category again up to this point. Only like real mistake I've made so far was that one like there where I had to change weapons in front of the guy. Which, by the way, that guy doesn't always sit there, so there was a chance that I wouldn't have been punished for that, but sadly I was. And then also missing a couple shots on roofs. That's like the only things that I've done wrong so far. If you stand in a certain spot on the cell door, like I did here, then like the door pulls you in because you're standing in front of the door. Like that, and then it looks like Carrington like kisses you. And I like to do that because I don't do a lot of gay stuff IRL, of course. And so I have to compensate by playing 13 in the gayest way possible. There's a surprising amount of things you can do to waste time in this area. For example, this here. Like making noise with that thing. And you can also like boost yourself off of it. Which I don't show off here. That's like the one glitch that's like potentially useful in this game, is like boosts. I guess I can expand on this part. On this part you just escort Carrington, so you have to wait for him to get to the end. So boosts are if you run against certain like, I guess, walls or slopes, then the game will like push you, like the game will like think that you're inside them and then pushes you out repeatedly if you run at the slope. And so if you jump at the same time that it pushes you out, then you keep the speed from it pushing you out, and you like fly. You can like fly like backwards really fast, and that's basically what a boost is. But it's pretty difficult to perform. And also there's like no spot where it like skips the section or anything, so it's not really used in a run at all, sadly. When you do get one by accident it like works, that's really cool though. There's a few spots where you can get one by accident and then it completely messes you up, but there's only like one spot that I can think of where that really happens. So on this part here is the one where you would potentially want an AR nade, but you can just throw this nade at these guys, and that makes them like die most of the time, and then you just finish them off with the assault rifle, hopefully. Which, oh yeah. For some reason the music here, like the enemy music, didn't start playing, so I was confused. And I was expecting one of them to still be alive because of that, because there's a music bug that happens there sometimes, where the music is like not playing and one of the enemies is still alive, and then you kill Carrington and then you cry. Man, this level has like so much stuff to explain. I can't do it fast enough. Yeah, let's just skip by that part. This next level is kind of similar to roofs. You basically just have to snipe enemies and escort Carrington. And the faster you kill the enemies, then the sooner he's gonna start moving, most of the time at least. There's some parts where you do have wiggle room, and you can lose like a second or something. You can take like a second longer without losing any time. This drop is surprisingly difficult. I was actually planning to hook extremely early, in order to not die from fall damage, because this run is like pretty good. But then that hook that was supposed to be early was like right before I hit the ground. Like I have no feel at all for when I'm supposed to hook on that part, because there's just like no visual cues at all. You just sort of look up at the sky. What you could do is you could look downwards while you're falling and then flick upwards and grab the hook immediately, but I'm not comfortable doing that. And I don't think my sensitivity is high enough in this game. I could do it in like different shooters, but for some reason I have lower sensitivity here. I guess you don't really have to do a lot of flick shots in this game when you're speedrunning anyway. I don't know about multiplayer. I actually haven't played a lot of multiplayer. Not sure why. I guess there's just not a lot of players. Actually, that isn't really the reason. I just don't feel like doing it. I don't know. By the way, if you want to play multiplayer in this game, there's a Discord server linked in the description called XIII, and there's people playing there every once in a while. Speaking of Discord servers, there's also the 13 Speedrun Discord. Consider joining that one if you want to hear about any news regarding this game as a speed game, or any like new runs coming out, or any new strat discovery. Is there anything else in the description? I guess there's also the leaderboard. I don't know, it's the leaderboard. I'm at the top. Who would have thought? Oh yeah, you go right side here now. We used to always go like to the left, but we recently discovered that going to the right here is actually faster by like 2 seconds. No one ever thought to try it for some reason. On this part here, I pick up an important document. Important documents, in case you're unfamiliar, you probably know what they do, but they basically give you like a skill, like a passive boost. That's like permanent. This one makes it so that you pick locks twice as fast. Which saves like a few seconds over the course of the run. There's also a different one that also gives you the same boost, but they don't stack, so we only pick up one of them. And in the future we're actually gonna pick up the different one, because we figured out a way to pick it up faster. Like the day after I got this run. So this run could really be like a few seconds faster for free. This is like the hardest jump in the game, even if it maybe doesn't look like it. I recommend not doing that jump if you're planning to run this game, because it only saves 8 seconds, and like I said, it's the hardest jump in the game. It's just really precise timing wise. It's probably about as precise. Actually, it's probably not quite as precise as a boost, but it's pretty precise, like I said. Okay, so you may have noticed that this split is called Big New Time Save. The reason why this run is like a minute 20 or so faster than the previous record is because there were a few new time saves discovered, a few new big time saves discovered. This is the first one. So normally, on this part after the flashback, you're supposed to kill like a bunch of enemies that all like spawn one after the other. And that section takes quite a long time, probably like 50 seconds to a minute. And there's also a thing where sometimes one of the enemies like won't spawn, and that like just makes you lose time without you having any chance to do anything about it. But we figured out a way to skip all of that. So normally after you kill all the enemies, there's like a script that starts doing its thing, and like the wall that keeps you from going to the next area like explodes at the end. It turns out, if we pick up a rocket launcher from one of the enemies and then shoot it at that wall will also break. We can just skip the entire fight. So, and like the reason that no one has ever tried that is because you normally can't get a rocket launcher from the enemies because they're all like on a raised platform. But recently someone figured out that you can actually get on top of that platform by doing a certain slope jump. And then you take the rocket launcher inside the building, shoot the wall, and then you don't have to do anything else. So first, I'm gonna go to the right and kill the guy with the rocket launcher so that he doesn't waste the rocket. Because like if you shoot the rocket and then you kill him and then you pick up his rocket launcher, you just get an empty rocket launcher. So you need to kill him ideally before he shoots the rocket. Or if he does shoot a rocket, then you have to wait for him to reload and then kill him. And he only has 2 rockets, so if he shoots you twice... Yeah, that was the slope jump, by the way. Now I'm gonna pick up his rocket launcher and jump back down, but that was the fall damage bug from earlier that I explained on the 2nd level. And yeah, that was my first death on this run. That lost about 20 seconds or so. Yeah, that's like the risk with this stretch. You can see here I took a lot less fall damage. And that's the wall you explode, and then you're good to go. So yeah, I probably would have taken like 40 fall damage there, 50 fall damage. Instead, I just died. Feels bad. But I still saved a lot of time compared to my PB. Even with that death, and that shows you how long that fight is and how much time this skip saves. Now I'm 21 seconds ahead. That's pretty good. I'm gonna have a sip of my beverage. I encourage you to do the same. Stay hydrated, folks.
Cara de mosca, Macol es una mosca. Sí, mi coronel.
Okay, so this beginning section of this level, it's actually like the single longest like segment we have to wait through in this game. It's about 3 minutes long. Which is, by the way, why this is the longest level in the game. And my goal split is barely larger than 5 minutes. So it would be pretty cool to get this one below 5, but sadly there aren't really any ways I can do it much faster as far as I know. There's like one skip that's theorized to be possible. Well, actually, we think this is a skip that might be possible, but we wouldn't know, like we don't know how to like put the pieces together quite yet. Basically in the bathroom, there's like a chance that maybe you can get up on the vents without killing the guards. But yeah, we haven't found a way yet. But if we were able to do it, then would be pretty nice. Probably save like 15 seconds or so. So yeah, that might be something worth looking out for in the future. In the meantime, we're gonna have to do the normal strats. Here, I stand in a certain spot so that this guard doesn't get stuck on the door, and I don't have to wait for the one in front of me. Saves, I don't know, like a second or so. This next trick here, I get hit by this guard on purpose, in order to delay him. And that makes it so that he doesn't reach his proper spot that he's supposed to be in during the cutscene. And then after this dialogue ends, I'm gonna get hit by him again. And then after that he's gonna open the door from all the way over here instead of right next to it like he's supposed to. So this door just opens. And that like saves the time of him having to walk towards it, which is about 5 seconds. So yeah, these are the guys that you might be able to skip in the future, but no one knows how. There just like doesn't seem to be a way to get up here. It's like barely out of reach. This level, by the way, is surprisingly difficult to survive. I regularly get very close to death here in any percent, even despite the fact that it's the lowest difficulty. Here I purposefully get spotted by this guard, so he's as close to me as possible when I open the door. Those guards can actually open the door for you, but it doesn't really save any time because you can just pick up the key during the same time it takes for them to get there. This guy is kind of a troll sometimes, because he just backs up all the way to the door, and then you have to like switch weapons while you're standing in front of it and waste time. But this time it was pretty nice. So no complaining to be done here. This voice line here about the version numbers only exists in certain languages. I know it exists here in Spanish. Oh, by the way, this is played on Spanish, because Spanish voice lines are the shortest on average. Or like in total, I guess. That was really awfully slow, but... Yeah, this is kind of chaotic here. Normally I do a better job killing those shotgun guys, but... Man, it's kind of scary. I could actually still die here if this guy gets a good shot on me. Oh, nice kill. Nice. Good job, me. Where was I? Oh yeah, Spanish. Yeah, Spanish voice lines, if you like add up all the voice lines from all the cutscenes, Spanish is the shortest in total, which is why we play on Spanish. The 5 voice languages from fastest to slowest are Spanish, Italian, French, English, and German. German is the slowest, like by far, and then Spanish and Italian are like 5 seconds apart. So if you wanted to, I guess you could play on Italian as well. What else is there to say? This level has the first boss fight of the game against Dr. Johansson. It's also kind of the hardest fight in a way. Man, this is going awful. that was awful. And for some reason, like the first shot, I guess, counted as a body shot, or the second one. And so I had to take an extra shot to kill him, and he ran at me, and so I had to wait to pick up his ammo. And that made it so that the guys after that were already a lot closer, and they kind of blocked me. So yeah, this next fight, we fight him with a revolver, cause I guess the revolver just has like the highest DPS, because you can just spam the right click at him. Ideally, you can kill him in 17 shots, which is 3 magazines. But I don't know. Sometimes it just a few shots like don't count as a headshot or something. So you do have to do an extra reload, waiting a few seconds. Let's see if I have to do that here. By the way, his movement is really hard to control. The best way to do it is to just keep walking backwards. And then hopefully he won't like run around you the way he just did. Yeah, that's really annoying when he does that. So yeah, I had to do an extra reload there, but overall the fight was still quite fine.
El santuario.
That document right there was a sniper document. It makes it so that when you're scoped in with a crossbow or a sniper rifle or a microphone, that your camera like is focused immediately and it doesn't like move around without you moving your mouse. Becomes useful in a few levels. I mean, you wouldn't really need it if you were just like good, but I guess I'm not. You have to take her hostage, because it makes the doors open faster, but obviously then you want to drop her immediately because you move so slow when you have a hostage. And it doesn't fail the mission to do that.
Jones, ¿me recibes?
Te recibo alto y claro. Estoy sobrevolando la zona. Sal cuanto antes.
So this next level coming up here is one of my favorites. It's the canyon level, the first one at least. In this level we have a lot of major skips. Okay, by the way there, what happened is I tried to equip the hook, which you normally do by pressing the equip button twice, but I instead equipped the lockpick, which for some reason sometimes happens on that spot. It just seems to be kind of luck based. Like how many times do you have to press the button? I don't know. So yeah, this jump here skips like most of the level. And it's not even that hard. I don't know, I guess they just like didn't think of it during testing and so it's still in here. This next jump skips also like 20 seconds or so. And then there's another small one at the end. There was also a jump that I did before those two that made it so that a few enemies don't spawn, but I forgot to mention it. And I was also still talking about my lockpick. Someone tells me that something weird happens if you like enter this level and trigger backwards, but I've never done it. So I wouldn't know what happens. This level right here, as well as the last one, are very popular for IL speedruns for some reason. I guess it's because they don't have any cutscenes. And, I don't know, I guess these levels are just like interesting. We can mostly ignore this rocket guy here on any percent. I mean, you do have to kill him obviously, because you don't want to take a rocket to the face at point blank range. Point blank range. But I don't know, he has a very low chance of killing you at all. Or like doing a lot of damage to you. Also on this level, there were 2 times where we did a large drop and we used the slope to avoid taking fall damage. Just like early on Emerald, where I said that I don't know why people have problem doing a jump. It's the same here, except on this level people don't have an issue with it for some reason, as far as I can tell. I don't know. And yeah, that's Canyon. And it's also another gold split. The reason I golded that is because of the second drop, where I caught myself with a ledge, with a slope. That one is pretty recent as well. What we used to do there is we would jump down the same way, but because there's a checkpoint there, we would just hit the checkpoint in midair and then do a checkpoint reset. And that would effectively also make it so we don't take fall damage. So this is actually cutscene skip here. Normally you're supposed to stay in the water and wait for those guys to talk about John Rainbow or whatever. But turns out if you just climb up there, you have barely enough time to jump on top of their heads to kill them. you wouldn't have enough time to shoot them with a pistol or anything, because they are full armor. But yeah, it's just enough to Goomba them. And that skips the cutscene. But you do have to wait there for the third guy to show up, otherwise he will ring the alarm and the mission will fail. Another useful thing about killing those guys is that you get a lot of assault rifle ammo, because for some reason both of them have 2 full magazines instead of 1. So now we have 120 ammo, or close to 120 ammo. That's that bouncing up and down there is called dolphin jumping. For some reason it works differently on that wall, but anyway, this spot here is the other spot. Like, you can jump through that door while that flashback shows up, the same way you could do on Bank. But yeah, it only makes it so that you don't have to open the door after this flashback is over, so it's a very minor time save. And I haven't learned it yet. A lot of things I haven't learned yet, because there's a lot of stuff that's being discovered recently over the last couple of months. And I haven't had the motivation to play too much. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, dolphin jumping. So basically when you're in water and there's like a wall next to you, then you can like jump out of the water. And if you do that repeatedly, it's a bit faster than just walking on land, and a lot faster than swimming. So that's why we do it whenever we can. This thread is kind of interesting. We used to enter the tent through the back, but it turns out you can just run in there at the front and then shoot this guy while he tries to press the alarm button. And that's why it's useful to have that sniper document, because you really don't want to miss that shot. And also it doesn't lose any time to pick it up. This cutscene, by the way, if you're doing a run, this is the last point where you can conceivably take a piss without losing any time. Because this cutscene is like 2 minutes or something. And yeah, that should be like barely enough if you're quick. Or I guess it's also enough to the last opportunity to like grab a drink or something. Because on the later, like, there's still long cutscenes ahead, but during those you like have to move. Like you have the same way you have to move at the start of Bang, so you can't really do anything that's besides play this game. So after this cutscene is over, they're gonna go back from whence they came, and normally you're supposed to follow behind the, you're like supposed to follow them through a door. But well, you'll see what I do. This document is also a sniper document, so it doesn't do anything. By the way, if they see you at all during this cutscene, then the mission immediately fails. So yeah, kill these guys, and then we immediately go through the door. Go to that guy tried to run away. I've never seen that before. So yeah, we just enter the door like right in front of their faces, and then because there's a checkpoint here, that there's just like no consequence for us. You can lose the run there if you mess it up and like get stuck on one of them or something, but didn't happen this time. Placing this bomb is surprisingly finicky. Sometimes you can like do it from very far away, and sometimes you have to be like right pressed up to that crate. Not sure why.
Le dije que no debía fumar junto a la
on this cutscene sometimes like the AI gets bugged out and they don't actually manage to go all the way over to that explosion, and one of them survives and like tries to shoot you after the cutscene is over. It's kind of weird. In general, the AI in this game sometimes gets bugged and does weird stuff. And it's kind of hard to react to that sometimes. Right here I shoot him to try to enter in front of him, but I had to kill him sadly, so these 3 guys spawned.
Malas noticias. Los
The reason I tried to delay him is so that they don't
espacios del
spawn, but
campamento.
they still did.
Coronel, le juro que le he visto. Steve Rowland lleva muerto mucho tiempo.
Coming up is the second boss fight of the game against McCall. McCall
Voy a cargarme a
can do a lot of damage to you, especially on high difficulties,
Jefe,
obviously.
se me está oyendo.
But
Número 1 había subestimado tus
yeah,
habilidades,
you'll see what I do.
pero quiere que te
There's a really fast way
¿Me oyes?
to kill him without a lot of danger.
Hablemos de esto. Tira las armas.
Well, you can still die, but you really shouldn't. So you just shoot an AR magazine in his face, and then you jump at him with an M60, and yeah, that does the rest. And I think in there I only healed like once.
Busca la entrada a la
So.
base. Es tu única opción.
This door is really weird, which is why, like, that's the reason why I jumped at it, is, like, while you're on the ground for some reason, you can't open it until you're, like, right next to it. And if you are jumping, you can do it from a distance. Accidentally equipped the M60. Nice shot. Normally you're supposed to throw a grenade at those 4 guys so that they don't shoot you while you try to do these hook jumps, but yeah, I obviously messed that up. What else did you say? Okay, on this next part, you're supposed to like, oh well, not supposed to, but you can either like go this way, like across the bottom of the room, or you can hook upwards and go across the top and get a lot of extra pickups, like assault rifle. No, I don't think there are assault rifle nades there. Or are there? Hold on, let me think. Yes, there are assault rifle nades there, but we don't really need them here. There's also a lot of health and ammo, but also not necessary. Would rather just go across the bottom because it's faster in this category. This hook drop also a bit difficult because sometimes when you drop too far you can't really grab. You can't really actually hook the thing anymore. Getting onto the submarine like that is also pretty finicky. If you don't manage to do it, you like dolphin jump along the side of it, and it's a lot slower than walking on top here. For some reason. I don't know. It seems weird because there's a few spots where dolphin jumping is fast, and then a few other spots where walking is faster. Yeah, I'm not sure why. So this level causes a lot of issues because on this part here, once you walk around the left here, you sometimes get spotted, and I'm not really sure why. You sometimes get spotted and sometimes not. Can't really tell when it's gonna happen or not. I think there's only like one person in the world who can do it. Shout out to Cal. So yeah, going there, doing that part that quickly allows us to follow the captain through the same door, and that way we don't have to watch a very long cutscene. And that's why it's very important that we do the level this way. Gold! Nice gold, by the way. Got a lot of gold splits this run. I don't know why. I guess I got better at the game in general and like at movement while I played the other category, and that's why now when I return to this one I get a lot of gold splits. This level is pretty cool. Just not really for like any interesting because of any interesting tricks or anything, but because there's just a lot of action and shooting. So here I purposefully get stuck on this door while this cutscene starts, so that I like don't like get pulled into the room towards him, and I can stay on this side. And that way I'm very close to him as soon as the fight starts, and I can immediately kill him. And that saves a few seconds. So the other lockpick document would be in this room if you climb up another ladder. And that's the one we're gonna pick up in the future. That document right there was not a lock document, that was a breathing document, which makes it so that you drown after 50 seconds instead of 25. It's completely useless for us. So yeah, we will pick up the document right now while that hatch is slowly opening. We can just do it during this time, and yeah, there's plenty of time to spare here, so don't know why we didn't do that before. Also, like I said, the reason why I didn't do that here is because someone figured that out right after I did this run. So I could have saved another like 3, 7 or 8 seconds that I didn't get to save here. Here I was confused about what to do, because I want to shoot an assault rifle nade at these guys, but I knew that I don't have enough to do that. So I just threw a nade and it worked out pretty well. The issue is that that one guy there at the bottom is still alive, and he might try to shoot me when I do this next hook jump, which could kill me because of the aim punch. But luckily I didn't get hit at all. Also, I messed that jump up completely, because I was worried about the guy at the bottom. And then also I didn't equip the bomb. Like, I was worried about the guy at the bottom shooting me, so I didn't think about how I have to do the jump, because you can do it in 2 different ways. Either you directly go towards the button, which is what I'm supposed to do, or you try to land on top of the roof. And the reason you would want to do that is because on top of that roof there are a lot of assault rifle grenades. And we do need assault rifle grenades on this next level, which is why I saved them up. You'll see. It's a really nice strat right here at the beginning. And there we go, and now everyone is dead. And we don't have to wait at all for the door to open. That first nade is to kill guys on the other side of the room. And then the other 2 ones are obvious. And yeah, once you kill all those guys, that guy next to the door spawns, and killing him will open it. If you kill this guy quickly enough, you don't have to wait for the door to close, because he won't be able to close it in time. This jump also saves you climbing up a ladder, like climbing on top of the helicopter like that. And this level has a lot of stuff going on. And then here, I'll explain the document later, and we picked up a bazooka here, because a bazooka is the only weapon we can use to damage this helicopter. We have to hit it 7 times, and if we enter the fight with a helicopter, we can already start shooting it like 4 times before we get to the rocket launcher that is inside of this arena, which was right there, by the way. So yeah, picking up that bazooka beforehand saves a lot of time. And on that I can't talk. So on the first part of the fight, he like flies in there with a set path on like the first 2 or 3 hits, and then after that he kind of moves around randomly, which makes him very hard to hit, and then on the end we like hide behind cover, and that makes him like stay in the same spot, so then it's easy to hit again. But on that middle part you often miss him. Another nice gold split. So here this lady follows us instead of hitting the button for some reason, if you run past in a certain way, and then we turn around to shoot her on that later part, while we simultaneously stand on the body of the other woman, and that way we already have a minigun, which ends up being quite nice to have. This cutscene is what I talked about earlier. It's a long cutscene, and we can't do really, like, we can't grab a drink. Yeah, nice job, DerKenste. Grab a drink or anything, because we keep having to follow him with our mouse. Fun fact: if you don't have a sniper document, this microphone will also move around for a while. By the way, if you don't have a sniper document, and you saw me do this earlier, like, your camera does move around a bit, but if you stand still for a while, it starts moving around less and less. And then after a few seconds it won't move around at all. And it will actually start focusing more quickly if you crouch instead of standing still. A lot of people don't seem to know that. So yeah, 13th fact. Let's have another drink here.
Tengo la lista de los que nos apoyarán económicamente. Se la daré esta noche a número 3 en la velada de armas del santuario. ¿Qué le parece el número 5? Perfecto. Yo también traigo novedades interesantes.
Okay.
A pesar de un ligero contratiempo, mañana por la noche tendremos bajo control todos los puntos estratégicos del país.
So this level has another 2 boss fights against the 2 gentlemen that you can see here. The green guy and the blue guy, Winslow and Willard. They're pretty easy fights. They die very quickly and you don't really have a lot of risk of dying yourself. You'll see the strategies once we get there. This gun on the left here from this guy, I wasn't really sure if I had to pick it up or not, but doesn't really lose a lot of time to do it, so I just decided to grab that extra ammo, because I'm so far ahead anyway. And there's still a few major skips ahead that are new, which are gonna allow me to save a lot of extra time. So yeah, for Winslow, you just like jump down there and spam him with double miniguns. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to explain. The document that I picked up on the last level is a double weapons document. It makes it so that you can dual wield miniguns and pistols, as you just saw me do. And yeah, that's useful on later levels if you want to do a lot of damage with the miniguns very quickly.
Gold!
Another gold. Wow. This is one of my favorite levels as well, because it, like, the movement on this is just very, like, nice on this beginning part. And then the shooting on the part after this is also very nice. Hitting that guy is kind of difficult, but worked out quite well. If you don't land in the water here, this guy will hear you, like the guy in the top left panel. Which does happen sometimes, but yeah. You don't have to kill these guys, because as soon as you get to this checkpoint area, they will respawn. Which is pretty nice. Normally you're supposed to pick up another pistol magazine at the well, but I missed it. But luckily I still have enough ammo. And here I pick up that guy's stuff without having to stop. which doesn't happen every time, but when it does, it's quite nice. So that guy has full body armor, which is gonna make survival very easy. Well, not very easy, but a lot easier. And also he has an AK for us, which we're gonna need on the last level.
Hay que ocuparse de él antes de que desbarate nuestros planes.
Mm,
Sabe que le traicionamos y busca venganza.
is there anything else interesting? There's an alternative strategy you can do on this level where you kill the two guys at the well, and then instead of making them despawn at the checkpoint, another nice gold, 3 golds in a row, in 80%, what the hell? You kill the two guys at the well, and then instead of making them despawn, which you don't have to do anymore because they're dead, you jump around the trigger that makes them despawn, and that also makes it so that the guys in the next area don't show up, and then you can just run through there without having to shoot them. But we don't want to do that in this case, because we want the guy's armor and ammo. Here we can just slap these important story characters without it doing anything, but sadly I got too close to the guy before I did it, and so the alarm started, and I had to do a checkpoint reset, which only loses about 4 seconds, but ideally you wouldn't want to do it. You could also just sneak before you slap the guy, but nah. I like to live dangerously. Picking up that keycard, by the way, is surprisingly difficult. I do. Sometimes I miss it multiple times. Right here, I only shoot the guy on the left because he's the only guy that. Like, the other guy just doesn't press the alarm for some reason if you don't kill him. Not really sure why. He just doesn't. Yeah, that important document is useless, by the way. Don't worry about it. It's a skill we already picked up. Crouching through here is also somewhat recent. We knew about it for quite a while, but we never wanted to do it because it's a very minor time save and it's kind of hard to kill guys afterwards. That medkit on the right, by the way, we used to always pick up, but because of the armor from the last level, we don't really need it anymore. And to pick it up, like, it does take a few seconds, surprisingly, because you have to like land on the platform it's on, and that makes you have to gain fall speed all over again once you walk off there. I don't know if I explained that well, but yeah.
Las unidades especiales de asalto SPATs del ejército impondrán la ley marcial en todo el país.
By the way, let us rejoice in advance at the success of our enterprise and duly celebrate the dawn of a new era is probably my favorite voice line from this game. I don't know why, I just really like the dawn of a new era metaphor, I guess. Here we have to wait for the objective to complete before we can jump down. And it turns out we can just jump up here without killing any of the enemies, if we can deal with the aim punch. And that saves a lot of time over the previous run as well. Gold! And I also gold by another second. Wow. This level is also pretty action-packed. Just a lot of enemies to shoot. By the way, almost all of these enemies have a medkit, but there aren't really any health issues on this level. I guess I'm pretty low on health, but yeah, that guy has a full medkit, and then she has a medkit, and that guy would have a medkit if I wanted him. Also, I feel like I forgot proper strat for this next part. You're gonna see why. Yeah. You can use this zipline waiting section to reload all your weapons for the upcoming fight. Pretty nice. So yeah, I shoot my magazine at these guys here on the left, which is what I think I'm supposed to do. Oh, I guess it would work out if I managed to kill that guy. Oh yeah, okay, never mind. I do still know this guy. I just messed up here because I didn't get the skill. Yeah. So yeah, you just kill all these guys and then you're good to go. This guy is kind of hard to kill because he's so far away. So like, we use the AK, which is the most accurate gun we have. Or, well, I guess technically it's not the most accurate gun we have, but like, so you have multiple options to kill that guy. You could spam at him with your double miniguns and just hope that he dies, which doesn't work particularly well. You could also shoot at him with a crossbow, which is extremely difficult because the helicopter doesn't stand still and it kind of like moves around unpredictably. So shooting him with a crossbow with that projectile speed is very difficult. You can also shoot him with a pistol, which you can usually kill him in one magazine, but you do have to headshot him twice, and across that distance, like I said, the pistol isn't perfectly accurate. And yeah, it doesn't work very well, so in the end the AK just is like the best option. It's like the middle ground between pistol and minigun. This cutscene also a long one, and you can't do anything because you have to follow Sheridan the entire time.
Bienvenido a XIII, senador Sheridan.
Hola, Calvin. Ha sido muy amable al recibirnos.
Hay un pequeño problema, Walter. El coronel Marshall no puede acompañarnos. Órdenes estrictas del presidente.
Daftos used to always say that this cutscene is the one where you like reflect on how good your run is, because it's like the calm before like the last like home stretch. But I don't know, I don't really do that. I guess his work is different in that regard. Daftos, by the way, former world record holder in this game, good friend of mine. He's who got me into running this game. By the way, if you're interested in running this game, if this game looks interesting to you, I do recommend joining our Discord server, and yeah, there you can like ask any questions that you would want to ask. I mean, if you want, you can just like write a comment or something, but Discord is definitely the best method to do that. So here you can just run in here and press the button without that guy noticing you. Took us a while to realize that, but oh, I blocked the door. It's bad, man. This checkpoint reset I just do to make the guard positions on this next part consistent. I don't know if anyone else does it, but yeah. It's also so that this next guy on the right is close, like the way he is, the way he was right there. Normally, if you don't do that checkpoint reset, he's a lot further away. This guy, by the way, would press the button if we didn't despawn him, the alarm button if we didn't despawn him with the elevator button. And he's like the only guy in that area that despawns if we hit that button, for some reason. It's kind of weird. So, okay, so this guy here in this room we have to kill because otherwise the cameras will spot us, and he's like the camera operator. Upcoming here is another major skip. Normally we have to wait for Galbrain and Wax to like finish their conversation and walk outside the room, and we have to like be all stealthy and let them walk past us. But it turns out we can just pick up this bottle and throw it at Wax to knock him out, and then he won't spot us when we enter this room with the level complete area. I guess the reason why we didn't discover that sooner is because no one ever used throwable objects at all. You might be able to relate if you played this game. Like they're just kind of, they feel useless, or they did to me at least, because it's just so difficult to hit an enemy with it. Like you'd rather just walk up to him and smash him with it. But I guess, like honestly, you could also slap the guy with your fists, and no one tried that either. So yeah. Recently, I just like had the idea to try slapping those guys and to see if I can maybe reach the level end trigger because it's so close, and it just like worked. And I was like, huh, that's nice. Guess I found a new skill. And then other people figured out that you can also throw the bottle instead of slapping the guy. This is the only section in the run where we have to carry a body, by the way. If you put him down before this guy is in a certain spot, then this objective here won't complete. And you will soft lock. And then you have to do a checkpoint reset. And that loses a lot of time depending on when you realize that you did it. If you realize it right away, it probably costs like 20 or 30 seconds. And if you realize it once the level end trigger is supposed to show up, it's gonna cost you, I don't know, like a minute? Minute 10? I don't know. I just know that it's basically the end of the run, in any percent at least. Well, it's the end of the run unless you're incredibly far ahead. So yeah, now we're a minute ahead. Pretty nice. On this next part, we have to walk up to Wax as quickly as possible to make him start a dialogue. And then we have to kill the rest of the enemies in here before that dialogue is over, so that the next one starts. So here we trigger the dialogue and then just use the M60 to kill the last remaining guys. Strat for this changed a couple of times while I played this game. Oh yeah, this guy just freaking turned around for some reason. What a bastard. Normally he keeps charging you, but he just decided to fuck me. That must have lost like 5 seconds. Yeah, that was kind of unlucky. Speaking of luck, pretty lucky that he happens to fall on the correct button to frickin' open that door. Future of America depended on him doing that. If only he decided to commit suicide in a more intelligent spot. Terrible. By the way, the reason this split is called Eye of Gold is because one time someone said this level looks like a GoldenEye level. And I don't know, I just decided to make that a split name. I don't know, I feel like I should come up with something better, but I just can't think of anything. By the way, the level they're thinking of is Control, because that also has like the control room that's like in that middle area here, with like the giant screen and all, like the desks. They're just like oriented differently. And then there's also all the glass walls around like we have here, and an upper rank and everything. There are definitely a lot of parallels, but I think there's like more differences than things that are in common. So here I tried to reload my gun, only to realize that I only have one bullet. Because I'm used to having to reload it here, but instead I'm gonna pick up ammo on this on the way back here. So if turns out if you throw a nade at this door, then it will just stop moving. And that's also a recent discovery. That's like the third major new skill. And yeah, now I pick up the ammo. Could I get away with only picking up one box of M60 ammo? I don't know. Seems kind of close. Probably can't. And then here during this cutscene, if you just keep holding mouse 1, you can shoot during this cutscene for some reason. Because like, I guess it just doesn't make you unequip the weapon while you're holding mouse 1. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And so yeah, you basically finish the first phase of this boss fight during the cutscene. And then I kind of do the second one a bit poorly. Because I don't know when I'm supposed to... Okay, you'll see. So at first I shoot him from behind this ladder, because I guess your bullets come from your right shoulder instead of the center of the screen. And then I just kind of charge him down to make him back up towards the rockets already. Saves a bit of time, but if I would have started running at him earlier, then even better. Also, it was AR and it's way too early. Messed that up a bit. But yeah, that was basically like the last thing that can... That was like the last obstacle. And now the run is basically over. We just like have to basically get to the end. So yeah, that was 13 any percent in... That was like this is like the first 124, and I completely skipped 125, which is pretty sick. Yeah, I'd say this run is like not super good overall. It's pretty good, but there is that 20-second time loss on Killer 2, which kind of makes me want to get a better run. I normally measure how good a run is by how far away it is from my sum of best, which I forgot what the final time is, but it's like a minute and 17 or something away from sum of best. And normally I want my run to be within 1 minute of sum of best. So yeah, I still want to improve this by like 20 seconds. And then also the 7 seconds from the new strat with the logbook documents. So I would want like a 124-10-ish. Who knows, maybe even a 123, but only time will tell. Also, I still won't do a lot of runs, because I'm still not very motivated. It was just kind of lucky that I managed to get this on like an off-the-cuff run. So yeah, thank you for watching. Whether or not you are a recurring viewer or someone who just wanted to see a speedrun of one of their childhood games, or if you just want to see a speedrun of the original before you play the remake, or whatever brought you here, thank you for watching. I used to stream on Twitch pretty regularly, but lately I haven't been doing that a lot. But you know, if you want to watch me live at some point, you can find my Twitch link in the description. Also, if you want to see my future speedruns or any other miscellaneous 13 videos I upload, make sure to subscribe. Or like my other like individual level speedruns that I do sometimes. So yeah, thanks. Oh yeah! Thanks. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. Yeah. Can you end the video, please? Thanks.